please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's Log, Subdates 23.1115.3. I have a bit of a soft spot for inmates that keep on reoffending, or morons. Granted, the soft spot happens to be their removed genitals, but we do enjoy giving them an extra reaming, and today shall be no exception. Welcome everyone to the Halls of Injustice. Today we welcome inmates number 186 to the ISO cubes. Somebody I'm somewhat surprised at this point. I haven't actually put into the ISO cubes before. It surprises me because I've done 2 videos on this person in 2021, and I'm going to play those relevant clips of those because it sets up who they are. It's handy, right? It's like a Where Are They Now coming in December. Today we induct Amos Yee into the ISO cubes. I am going to tell you at great length who they are and the crimes they committed, because they're a terrible person. They had so much promise and then decided to take their trolling to a level that, quite frankly, was unacceptable, because then it became reality. The line between what was a joke and what isn't a joke got blurred because of this fool, somebody who I had earned a block from on Twitter, no lie, after spamming him with Chris Hansen memes, along with retweeting someone else's to the tune of over 1,000 times. I lost about 300-400 followers because of that. I don't think I've ever fully recovered. Amos is going to be with us for some time, and I thought I'll play the exhibition of stupid people I did on him and the other video I've done since. I'm going to put a timestamp at the top if you don't want to see it, but I do think for the sake of context, you should watch so you understand who inmate number 186, Amos Yee, is. Back in 2016-2017 YouTube, there was a star born. The star was born because this particular individual was quite critical of religion, more notably Christianity and Islam, within his home nation of Singapore. His name is Amos Yee. The only clip I have of him from his original channel is this.
Let's strive for equality.
As you can see from the face of it, it is top-tier intellectual stuff. Now, he had been charged because he made fun of the death of somebody and then went on to criticize faiths quite aggressively. I can't show any of this, though, because his channel got terminated a few years later. We'll discuss that when the time is correct. He was, because of his language, actions, attitudes towards religion, he was charged, he was put in prison, he was freed, he carried on, and eventually he left. Now, the reason he left was because a lot of those within the anti-SJW community, more notably Logic, not a shot at him, I promise, supported Amos and his ability to speak freely, especially on the subject of religion, which we all supported. We all supported it because Amos Yee to us was a very young, very, very young man who at the time held so much promise because he was entertaining, and he was good and capable of debunking bad arguments made by those that are religious. To give Amos Yee's life a bit more context in Singapore, he was jailed twice, in 2015 and 16. In 2017, Amos Yee fled Singapore and was granted asylum in the United States after being detained at the O'Hare Airport by immigration officials. After that, Amos Yee started living with a family. And this is where the story gets a little weird, because Amos Yee not long after started espousing certain ideas. These ideas are not good. No, these are bad ideas. I would show you, but sadly, most of the videos he originally made were gone, because in May of 2018 his channel was terminated.
It's your boy, Amos. I'm totally not a pedophile, but I'm going to dedicate my life to defending pedophilia. Yee got f***ing yeeted off of f***ing YouTube. Right, now, I don't feel his voice should be silenced because, like I says, even though he has absolutely abhorrent opinions that I don't want to have, like, I don't want his opinions to have any kind of say in, you know, our laws or anything like that, but he still has every right to say them.
No F in the comments for that. The comments circled around the age of consent and well, essentially NAMBLA, or MAPS. The discussion about what people can do with children. Understandably, the anti-SJWs absolutely pounced on this, because it felt like one of the biggest betrayals within the community that he was a part of. At the time, many were starting to question whether or not he was trolling or not. So there were a number of debates, more notably on Andy Warski's Warski Live channel, which then had a bunch of guests including Roaming Millennial, Hunter Avalon, Blair White, talk to him, question him, try and understand his beliefs. He also appeared on Count Dankula's channel a few times, and you can really understand that Amos is trying desperately to believe what he says, desperately trying to believe it. But it's so difficult to believe him, because all the sources he cited have been debunked. He also had a very interesting debate with Destiny, and Destiny is the one person I really wanted to see debate him, and it was spicy. Metica also had a disagreement with Amos Yee, and this one was interesting to me, because this particular one was the one that made me very much aware then that Amos Yee was trolling.
I do great, motherfucker. How do you do, piece of shit? So what did you want to talk about?
What do you have, like, counter arguments about my or are you just gonna, ad hominem?
Well, I like I said, I got 5 minutes for you, Armand White. What do you want to talk about?
No, like, what the hell? You have people want you to destroy me. I'm assuming you have counter arguments, unless you don't have any. Are you?
Well, I don't believe the whole shtick to begin with. I think you're just a huckster.
A few moments later.
Call all my, ad hominem. Say I'm trolling whenever you don't have an argument.
You are. I know, and it bothers you when you get called on it. I know that really is what pisses you off the most, when people see through your shit and then say it openly. Look at you smile. Look at that smile. It's adorable.
Hide behind your facade, man.
Look at that. Look at that smile. You know that. That I'm right. You know that I'm right. That's why you can't stop smiling. You're like, oh God, I gotta keep this up. I gotta get angry.
I think you misconstrued a smile of you think this is the smile of me destroying Mr. Medicare. So, and it's more than 5 minutes, so I got your attention. Mission accomplished.
Oh no, you did. I popped on to have a little bit of fun.
And that is how I destroy Mr. Medicare.
That's right.
Wait. Then you'd be admitting.
Everybody, yeah.
Wait. Then you'd be admitting that I was right, and that you are a troll and an attention whore. You got my attention. Nicely played, Amos Yee.
And
Good job, buddy. Way to fuck that up at the ending.
And you would be admitting.
So close. You had it so
my
close,
God.
But you fucked it up at the ending. You got a little braggadocious about it, didn't you?
I'm just talking about.
Oh, you fucking shot yourself in the foot on that one. Oh, you shot yourself in the foot on that one.
Moving on from that, on December the 8th, 2018, Amos Yee lost his Twitter account as well. He had at the time faced many accusations. He was running a number of forums. These forums at the time alleged to exist as a means to promote these relationships that should never, ever, ever be promoted. Not long after that, on December the 9th, he was banned from Facebook. He was being scorched earth from the internet. It's also interesting that the person that helped secure his asylum, Melissa Chen, who originally supported him 100%, was finally starting to see the light when it concerns what he was doing. And so when the Chicago Police Department were finally involved in something concerning Amos Yee, yeah, she threw her weight behind it, but I've again skipped ahead a little. You see, we have to go back to 2019, where he lost his Discord server, where he was recruiting people who were interested in the topic and arranging and organizing with activists from all around the world. Shocker. Ooh, that's a lot of information to unpack, isn't it? But quite a good timeline of events, I think. Well done me. Shame about all the dead air in between all of that. It would take far too long to edit it out, sorry. I'll link the full video down below if you want to watch the entire thing, but to be honest, that's what you need to know about who Amos Yee is. He was pro-free speech, he was very anti-religion in the sense of it being involved in politics, but also anti-religion being free from criticism and parody, who, upon getting to America with the help of a number of anti-SJW creators and fans, decided, I'm going to hurt you all now because it's in my nature, and commit, well, an ironic crime, which is what we're going to play next from that video and a follow-up video, because there's more to come, I promise. Between April and July of 2019, Amos Yee was exchanging messages with a young lady aged 14 in Texas. Amos Yee exchanged explicit pictures with that person. The pictures of Amos Yee with his wang out, yeah, they're on the internet with the message logs. We know he did it. Of course they could be doctored, but since federal charges have been brought into this Cook County case, yeah, things are getting real now. In December of 2019, Amos Yee attempted on YouTube to defend this. Again, another deleted source though. His argument has always been that it is not immoral. I think he's ignoring the fact that it is still illegal. We can argue morals all you like, but the law of the land states very clearly what the age of consent is and the age you're allowed to do such things, like sending explicit pictures. In those same message logs, Amos Yee also asked the young girl he was essentially grooming to remove her age from her WhatsApp and other posts so that no one could trace or track how old she was. Because he's a genius, yo. On October 16th, Amos Yee appeared in court under charges of solicitation and possession of child porn. He has been living in Chicago, for those who don't know, for the past 3 years. When the judge tried to speak along with prosecutors and defenders, Amos Yee kept attempting to talk. He had to be shut down by the assistant public defender, and he is currently being held on a $1 million bail. He has been banned from using the internet while he awaits trial, which begins in November. Why am I telling you all of this? Well, it's because, interestingly, even in that courtroom, he is claiming, as is his defender, that he's just a troll. I'll be honest with you, Amos. You're not. There is no version of this where I can think of you as a troll anymore. You are a fully grown man who was caught sending pictures to a 14-year-old girl. If you are found guilty, there are 2 potential futures. The first is you have your asylum revoked and you are sent back to Singapore, which would not be ideal for you because additional charges would be laid at your feet in Singapore. Singapore, of course, no offence to those who are from Singapore, with their prisons are renowned for their human rights in prison. The second is you stay in a US prison. Not ideal for you, is it? We know the hierarchy in a prison. You would be at the bottom. The follow-up video I made was made during the month of Merry Meggy Moistmas, so the backdrop is going to look a bit festive, something which you're going to see in December. I'm not going to apologise for it, I'm quite proud of the look of it, to be honest. It was also before I had Halls of Injustice set up. It does though provide an update to what happened to Amos, which will in turn lead us to where he is now. And it's vitally important because you need to know what happened before I tell you why he's here. Amos Yee was indicted by a grand jury following charges of child pornography. Under US law, when a person is indicted, they are given formal notice that it is believed that they committed the crime. The accused is then arraigned, during which they are then read the charges in the indictment and asked to enter a plea. Amos Yee, during the initial hearing, only said thank you to the judge, so no plea was entered. Skip ahead to November 25th. Amos Yee pled not guilty to all charges, and in a remote hearing, Yeet was represented by a public defender. Court dates were then arranged for follow-ups, and I do believe coronavirus was what kept this one from being, let's say, pushed forward with as fast as it could have been. Because Amos Yeet was unable to secure the 100 grand needed in order to free him pending a trial, he remained in custody the entire time. Yeet's defender was adamant that Amos Yeet was nothing more than a troll, and that he used the internet to simply say fantastic things. That is a quote, by the way. There is a line between being a troll and taking it into the real world. The chat logs were very much publicly available, and of course they'd need to be corroborated and confirmed, verified, so that they could then be used in a court of law against him. But Amos Yeet crossed that line. With that line crossed, he was no longer someone promoting something as a joke, meaning myself and many others like Mr. Metica were wrong. He was after attention, yes, but he fed on negative attention, and his true motives were hidden until he had enough attention to be able to show everyone, shock them, and run with it. He then took what he claimed was just a joke, while claiming at the same time that he believed it and actually believed it enough to act on it, believing himself above their lair to the point that when he got busted, he maintained his innocence, even when there were 18 charges at his feet. So where is Amos Yee now? In prison. But I'm skipping ahead a little. Amos Yee was sentenced to 6 years in jail by a United States court after he then changed his plea to guilty. His plea was entered on December the 3rd. 16 other charges were dismissed as part of this plea deal. What had happened was, Yee befriended the 14-year-old girl in February 2019 when he was living in Cook County. He was 20 at the time. They met online, began an online courtship. Yee then escalated this to require, request, demand lots of nudes, which he would then reciprocate. What happened next was seduce, solicit, lure, grooming over WhatsApp. When he spoke in court, he waived the right to a jury trial, which meant that this didn't have to go the long haul, because he knew damn well what would happen if he had not taken a plea deal. That sentence would have a 0 on it, or worse, he'd be sent home, which is still likely, as Judge Howard had warned him and informed him that he may well be deported and be denied entry to the United States in the future. You, Amos Yee, deserve to spend all that time in prison, but I don't know if your time in prison will be 6 years, 3 years, or 1. And I say that because you've been in prison for a while. Does that count as time served or not?
On the 8th of October 2023, Amos Yee was released and placed on parole, barely halfway into his 6-year jail term for grooming and possessing child indecent images of the adult variety. This was confirmed on the VineLink mobile app, which notifies victims of crimes on the current status of offenders. He had been housed in the Illinois River Correctional Center, a medium security state prison in Fulton County, which is a 3-hour drive from Chicago itself. He was expected originally to be released on the 8th of October 2026. His jail term, though, had, and it was confirmed, been backdated to the arrest on October 2020, hence his release. As a requirement of his sentence, he is listed on the sex offender registry and does still face deportation from the US, as his asylum status could still be revoked. Here is a more recent picture of Amos Yee. He hasn't really aged that much, to be honest, beyond his hairline going further back. The IDOC website that confirms he's been granted parole does not show what the conditions of his parole are. All we have is this email image confirming that he has been released because victim received it. As far as I was concerned, I felt that he should do the full 6 years and then be deported, because quite frankly he effed around and then he found out. The girl repeatedly told him how old she was and he kept going. I also felt 6 years wasn't long enough, and since he faces charges back in Singapore and because of the nature of the crimes he was sentenced for in the United States, I personally don't care if he goes back to Singapore and is treated like crap. The lack of humanity or empathy I'm going to show towards someone that would willingly take advantage of a child, yeah, don't be surprised by that. So in early October, Amos Yee was released from custody. A month later, on the 8th of November 2023, Amos Yee was admitted under DOC custody again. A message from the Victim Notification Network indicated he is now being held at a maximum security prison in Crest Hill, Illinois, the Stateville Correctional Center. At present, details of the latest incarceration have not been released. However, Amos Yee has been releasing, or had been releasing, blog posts. The first was posted on October 23rd, where Amos Yee defended the actions that got him put in prison in the first place, and that he intended to return to Singapore even though he knew he'd have to serve time there for having faulted on his national service obligations. On the 5th of November, he posted another entry titled 6 Impressive Things I Want to Do, wherein one item on the list was make defending PDF files popular. Amos really isn't helping himself here. He has essentially violated the terms of his parole, and I'm going to take a wild guess here that one of the terms of his parole was limited internet access. That is quite common in the UK with those who are PDF files. It's quite common, in fact, to restrict their access so that they do not go down that path again, or to help them rehabilitate. Amos is not that old. He's early 20s. He is committing to this. Clearly 3 years years in prison did not rehabilitate him, and now he's been put in maximum security. I'm not entirely sure if it's because he violated his parole or if it is to protect him from the inmates in that prison who will hear what he has done. But I am inclined to believe the former, because he effed around and now he's finding out yet again. Which means as he's violated his parole, he will not be released until 2026. I do not feel a shred of guilt towards Amos Yee. I'm annoyed that many years ago, many creators, myself included, defended him when he was pro-free speech and he was trying to stand up against a government that was trying to have him locked away repeatedly for having thoughts that went counter to their beliefs. But I will hold firm on free speech. He should have every right to speak his mind on these subjects, 100%. I never said anything about consequences, and again, if he has parole terms, there's a possibility he violated them with those blog posts. Do enjoy the rest of your stay in prison, and good luck going back to prison in Singapore for violating your terms for national service. Although I'm sure if they get a chance, they'll also lock you up for being a PDF file, bitch.